So the NBA season has officially concluded. The Boston Celtics are the NBA champions, and now we can shift our focus towards the offseason. The offseason is probably the best time of the NBA year. We get crazy signings, awesome trades, there's the NBA draft, and of course, we have the rumors. There's a lot of teams who have a lot of questions to answer this offseason. So I thought, why don't we look into a couple of these teams and try to see if we can answer some of the biggest questions that we're gonna have this offseason. So I think it's only right that we start off with LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. As of this recording, the Los Angeles Lakers just hired JJ Redick as the coach of their future. An interesting hire, but he was the front runner from the beginning. He brings a new dynamic to this team, but that's not the focal point of this talk. We have to talk about LeBron James and his future. Now, LeBron James has been very adamant that he doesn't have much time left in this league. You can see his athleticism has taken a slight dip, and for obvious reasons, he just isn't the same player that he used to be. So with that in mind, I think the Lakers are going to approach this offseason and beyond a little different. And what makes LeBron James' situation even scarier is that he could be a free agent this year. You see, LeBron James has a player option, and he's going to have to decide whether to accept that or decline that. Declining that could cause a whole world of problems and force the Lakers' hands to kind of attend to what LeBron wants. The JJ Redick hire could have been a way for the Lakers to convince LeBron to stay. Drafting Bryant could be another way for the Lakers to convince LeBron to stay. All in all, LeBron has a big decision to make. I think there's three outcomes. He could choose to stay in LA, or he could leave. And the only two teams that I could see him joining are the Cleveland Cavaliers via sign and trade, or the Philadelphia 76ers. But another big problem is that if LeBron stays, the Lakers are kind of locked into their roster, which has been a play-in team for the past couple of seasons. D'Angelo Russell is going to be a free agent this year, and the Lakers will probably be forced to re-sign him. And how many assets are they going to want to trade, considering that LeBron James doesn't have much longer left in this league? Do you want to go all in and be competitive, knowing that LeBron has maybe 2 to 3 seasons left? Or do you want to keep some of your future assets to ensure that you're going to have something to work with once LeBron James retires? Some big questions that the Lakers are going to need the answers to very, very soon. But the Lakers aren't the only team with this problem. Another team that has this problem is the Golden State Warriors. Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors have tormented this league for a decade, and now it looks like their reign of terror may have come to an end. The Golden State Warriors, practically healthy with Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green this season, failed to make the playoffs, and it bears the question of what the future holds for them. Klay Thompson is set to be a free agent, and recently he did some weird things that have fans questioning if he'll be back or not. Klay Thompson took to Instagram to unfollow the Warriors and delete a lot of the Warriors related posts. And Draymond Green had a reaction to this, laughing basically, which I don't think bodes well for Klay Thompson's future. Despite the regression in play, I think Klay Thompson will still have a decent market in free agency. A lot of teams could use his spacing and shooting to improve their offense, which means he could command a decent number and one that the Warriors do not want to pay. There's also the fact that the Warriors are a second apron team, meaning that they're kind of restricted on the moves they can make. Second apron teams cannot take players back in trades, meaning that the Warriors can't really do anything until they get under that second apron. Now, they have some moves that they can make to alleviate that. They could look to release Chris Paul, clearing $30 million in cap space. There's Kevin Looney, who they could also look to release. And then, of course, Klay Thompson, if he looks to leave, that will clear cap as well. But then the question is the same for them as it was with the Lakers. You have your young assets like Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody, as well as some future picks. But how willing are you to go all in knowing that Stephen Curry doesn't have much longer? You could capitalize off the 3 to 4 seasons that he has left, but is there really a trade that you can make that will propel you back into NBA championship contention? I don't know. Now, the Warriors aren't the only team that's affected by the second apron. This new CBA has affected a lot of teams, and one that a lot of people aren't talking about is the recent NBA champion Denver Nuggets. This past season, the reign seemed to come to an end. They lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves in 7 games, and it goes to show how there's a lot of parity in the NBA. It looked like nobody would be able to contend with the Nuggets for the foreseeable future. But now, the Western Conference looks a lot tighter than it used to be. Now, the problem with the Denver Nuggets is that they're going to have to pay some people. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is set to be a free agent this year, and he's going to get a big bag. Jamal Murray is extension eligible very soon, and they already have the high tax bills of Michael Porter Jr. and Nikola Jokic. So how can the Nuggets really get better already paying these people so much money? And how willing are they going to be to pay that tax bill, knowing that it comes with restrictions? This is where some tough decisions might have to come into play. They might have to trade Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. is a great player, but considering the fact that he's basically a negative on defense and doesn't provide much on ball, his high tax bill might not be worth it. And knowing that Nikola Jokic can elevate a lot of people's games, maybe the Nuggets could look to find a cheaper option in place of Michael Porter Jr. And Michael Porter Jr. should demand a great return back. It's not like they're throwing him away for nothing, but of course, these are decisions that the Nuggets are going to have to make. They could look to pay that tax bill, pay everybody, and continue to run it back, but with other teams in the Western Conference continuing to get better, the Nuggets will be wise to be one step ahead. And unfortunately for them, it might have to start with some trades. Trades are how a lot of teams look to get better. And the last team I want to talk about is going to have to make a couple of them to really set the bar. The Bucks last season shocked the entire NBA, trading for Damian Lillard. A Damian Lillard Giannis Antetokounmpo 1-2 punch was looked at to just run through the league, but for obvious reasons, that was not the case. This team lacks a lot of depth, and with your other pieces like Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez continuing to age, the time is now for the Bucks to make a move. But the problem is they have no assets. They're basically a second apron team, so what can they really do? You have a pick in this year's NBA draft, and you have to look to get a great player with it. Someone who's going to have to give you 20 to 25 minutes a game. And some tough decisions are going to have to be made. Brook Lopez might be on the move. At this point, he's 36 years old, one of the worst rebounding bigs in the league, and his lack of mobility kind of limits the Bucks defensively. Or you can look to move Bobby Portis. He could get you a decent return, depending on who's desperate for his services. Even with Doc Rivers as their coach, I still expect big things from this team. And if they can make some decent moves around the margins, they probably have the best shot at knocking off the Boston Celtics. And like I said, the offseason is just getting started, so it's going to be very interesting to see how those teams look come October.